Welcome to the WalterFootball.com podcast. This is episode 298. We're doing our week 6 NFL picks against the spread. A little bit early because there's a Tuesday night game between the Titans and the Bills. We'll discuss that at the end because hopefully the inactives will be available then. In the meantime, we're going to do our week 6 picks against the spread first. Joined once again by Jacob Kamaker from the Sporting News. Jacob, how are you?
I'm doing pretty great. I'm happy to be on. Just finished up work, so I managed to get as many notes in as possible. I may not have as many cool stats as normal, but yeah, we got all sorts of thoughts on this game slate, though.
Yeah, absolutely. So how'd you do in week 5?
I did okay. It was my worst week of the year, and that's not bad because I still might go 500. Or no, I might have a winning record. I'm 7-6 right now. Depending on what happens tonight and which side I pick, which I have not announced yet, we'll find out if I can avoid a 500 week.
Nice. I went 9-4 against the spread with tonight's game pending. Obviously, it was great. I was 9-2 heading into the Sunday night game, and then Seattle and the Saints they couldn't cover. The Saints, the Michael Thomas suspension really threw me off. This is something I wrote in my picks column today. The teams with number one receivers have just been terrible this year. And it's something I want to go back and investigate the past few years. But they've had a terrible covering rate, and just saw it with the Saints last night. They couldn't move the ball until the very end. And, the Chargers, while they scored 27, it was really 20 points because one came off that interception that almost was a pick six. So I feel like if Michael Thomas was on the field, the Saints could have scored a lot more. So that was my bad for not adjusting the unit count for that, but I was kind of trapped in the super contest because I already picked the Saints. I thought Thomas was going to play, but what are you going to do? You just got to move on to the next week. And this week's slate is a little short because there are 4 teams off bye. So there are 14 games, and there's no Thursday night game because Bills Chiefs got moved to Monday night because the Bills are playing tonight. So let's start. The first Sunday game is Bears at the Panthers. Panthers are favored by 2.5. It opened 2.5. It's still 2.5. So who do you like in this game?
I got to say first, I'm bummed that there's no Thursday night game because I'm still 5-0 on Thursday night, undefeated. Somehow pulled that off with the Bears-Bucks. I was sad the Bucks lost, though. But yeah, I will be very sad without Thursday night football this week. This game, I like the Panthers. Suddenly, the Panthers are just they started the year 0-2. They didn't look very good. Now they've rattled off 3 games in a row. Their offense had been good to start the year. Teddy Bridgewater leading a solid attack with those 3 really dynamic receivers. But now their defense is stepping up. The last 3 games, they're limiting teams to 17.7 points per game. And, they played like the Cardinals and the Falcons in that stretch. So it's not like they're playing slouches at quarterback or, offenses that aren't very good. These teams have weapons. They've just been able to contain them. So I think they have a good chance of doing the same to a Bears offense that has only scored 21 points a game so far this year. That includes what they were able to do against the Falcons when Nick Foles led that insane comeback. And as we all know, the Falcons are not very good. So that needs to be taken into account that's on the defensive side of the ball. So I think that the Panthers will be able to slow down that offense and get the ball moving enough against the Chicago defense to make a difference. And, Mike Davis has been a big part of this too. He's filling in for Christian McCaffrey very, very well, much better than I expected. If he can continue to get the ground game moving and keep them ahead of the chains and make things easy on Teddy Bridgewater looking for checkdowns out of the backfield, I think Carolina should be good. I think they could win this game by a field goal, and I just think this is a solid line. So I'm on the Panthers for 2.5 or 2 units at the 2.5 number.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this game yet because there are some injuries that we don't know about yet. The Panthers suffered several injuries against the Falcons. They lost Brian Burns. They lost Yetur Gross-Matos. So they're 2 edge rushers, and they also lost Dante Jackson, their number 1 corner. So if they're without these guys in this game, especially the 2 edge rushers going against the Bears, I feel like Nick Foles is going to have a good game against the secondary, especially if Jackson's out. So I think the Bears with extra time to prepare. I mean, I think that's big too. I kind of like the Bears here, and I'm gonna pick them for now. But if you're gonna tell me that everyone's gonna be back for Carolina, I might switch to the Panthers. The Panthers have been impressive, as you said. But then again, you kind of have to look at the teams they've beaten. So the Chargers, the Cardinals, and the Falcons, all 3 teams have lousy defenses. So while like Bridgewater has been great, and as Robbie Anderson has been a lot better than expected. I'm curious to see how they do against a much better defense. So, right now I'm going to be on the Bears, but we'll see what happens at the injury report.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. I could see if all three of those defenders are out, I could see switching my pick. But I do that. This is just like my crazy theory. Like Chicago is not a 4-1 team in my head, and if they go 5-1, I'm going to lose my mind. Look, I thought the Panthers were going to challenge for the number 1 pick, so I'm surprised that they're winning too. But I can't explain why. But I just 5-1 Chicago would drive me crazy, so I have to be on the Panthers here just for my own mental sanity.
Yeah, they're 4 plays away from being 0-5. So you're right. They're not a 4-1 team, but maybe they'll continue to have good luck. I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. They remind me of the 2001 Bears team that was 13-3, and they got super lucky every single week. And then luck ran out in the playoffs when they got smoked in the divisional round against the Eagles. It's kind of reminds me of that team a little bit. So anyway, moving on. Before we move on to the next game, please hit subscribe if you're watching YouTube. Hit the like button, the notification bell, or share this with someone. All that would mean a lot to us to help the show. It really would. So please do that.